This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Bo figure, the special friend who helps She-Ra. I kind of want to say that the original toy said She-Ra's special friend or something to that effect, because like in the original mini comics, you had a lot of Catra and She-Ra fighting over Bo kind of thing, or Catra and Adora, however you want to look at it. Like the original toys, Bo was considered a love interest. This is, of course, part of the Filmation Cartoon Collection. Got a little off track there, but why not? So if we take a look at the back of the packaging here, we see, as seen on Bo's magical gift. And there it's got Glimmer, who we have not gotten and probably will not get, with Shadow Weaver, and the Poop Monster figure. And this is, of course, modernizing and celebrating the original 80s She-Ra Princess of Power animated series. Included with this figure is a bow and arrow. We will get into some issues with that shortly. And you can twist into powerful battle positions. As part of this wave, you have Bo, the special friend who helps She-Ra, Whiplash, the evil tail thrashing warrior, and Shadow Weaver, the evil mistress of dark magic. Well, let's go ahead and open the sucker up, shall we? Okay, so we got the little paper bit of information that shows all the parts that come off of him. Standard. Here's his bow. I want to say in the cartoon it actually kind of like shrunk down a little bit. And I was half expecting this to be the same bow that Sharella came with, but it's not. It is new. And then he comes with a single arrow, which is, can we all say it? Dumb! Because there's not really a good way to have him hold the freaking arrow in his hand. And you're not going to be able to have him like look like he's holding the damn thing either. This is why, and I think I may have mentioned something like this when we did the Sharella review. I could be wrong. Probably I'm wrong. But if they're going to give us a bow like this, I'd like to see them go ahead and give us two of them. One that shows it like here, where it's at rest, so to speak. And then a second version where they actually have it pulled back and you can have the arrow in it already cocked, you know? So you can go ahead and try to do those poses. Not that these guys can... No, actually, never mind. Maybe he can. So theoretically, you could pose him so it looks like he's getting ready to shoot an arrow. The problem, again, is like we got him like this right now. This thing doesn't hold on to anything. So, again.
You're so stupid! 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 Stupid!
That being said, let's take a look at the comic that he comes with. We have the comic Final Fright. Previously in the Horde Invasion saga, after being released from Despondos for swearing an oath to conquer Eternia and Etheria, Hordak launched a war that nearly defeated the Masters of the Universe. On Etheria, Hordak besieged the Crystal Castle both on the ground and in orbit. While on Eternia, He-Man and the fellow Masters were shocked to learn it wasn't Grayskull Hordak sought, but Skeletor, who was captured on Snake Mountain. He-Man traveled to planet Primus, recruiting his future self. Together, they discovered Hordak's armada, freeing She-Ra and the rebellion from the siege. Shouldn't have been the Great Rebellion. Also, I just realized they don't actually give us an Origins version of the New Adventures He-Man outside of that collector's set of 4 figures, if you might recall. Now, She-Ra and He-Man prepare themselves on the unlikeliest rescue mission to save Skeletor. As the brave warriors begin to enter the fright zone, a familiar voice calls out, Bo, the ever noble archer. He-Man, She-Ra, wait, let me join you in what may be our final battle. If it is, may good ever be the victor. The sky is like a purple bruise. Lightning quietly slashes across the firmament. Our heroes grimly hike the rocky hellscape, sensing evil, hidden but ever present. The Fright Zone has no shortage of monsters. Luckily, there's no shortage of heroes. Hordak is not without his defenders, as monstrous serpent bears venomous fangs. I think that's supposed to be the thing from the Fright Zone toy, although it looks like a serpent instead of the dragon. Hordak, have you forgotten your oath? The Overseer sensed your campaign is not proceeding as you foresaw. Dark Lords, the campaign is a success. Skeletor is my slave. The Masters have already walked into my trap, and once defeated, I shall reassert our dominion. Fulfill your oath, or your banishment to Despondos shall spell eternal doom. As the heroes battle a Leviathan, an alien power beyond mortal comprehension opens an astral channel to Hordak, the Overseers of Despondos. The planular portal snaps shut, releasing a vacuum of hot wind. Isn't that right, Skeletor? Bah! Despondos is nothing but a glorified prison. Soon I shall reach the heights of my power, and by the universe it's... Oh my god. Bah! Despondos is nothing but a glorified prison. Soon I shall reach the height of my powers, and then the universe itself will bow before its true master. Ha 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 ha! Any help here? As quick as the servant was to strike, it was faster in retreat, though not unscathed. Noble effort, masters, but your cause is at an end. Skeletor is one with the Horde, and your lives are now. Boom! The powerful necromancer Shadow Weaver appears, as it was she who pulled the strings of the Leviathan. Void! Bo is struck down by Shadow Weaver's incantation. His state neither alive or dead, but living purgatory. Zop. Uncle, I'm not here to fight you. Clang! Frozen in place by a paralysis bolt, Skeletor at last has his chance to destroy He-Man forever. Skeletor, remember, you are and always shall be your own master. Emerging from a pool of shadow, the anonymous who conspired his diabolical taboo, Hordak. Remember your place, Skeletor. Prove your allegiance. Savant of the dark, and vanquish your sworn enemy once and for all. Skeletor serves no one! Sorry, master, but I have my own hide to protect. Leaders remain so by winning. Overwhelmed, Shadow Weaver flees, abandoning Hordak, for evil has no allegiance save to itself. Skeletor, you could have destroyed me. I shall one day, nephew, but that time is yet to come. Skeletor and She-Ra, my greatest pupils, why fight when we can join forces? Because the trauma you've caused knows no bounds. She-Ra's words resonate with Skeletor more than he will ever admit. Together against us, Hordak shall fall. We have the power. No! No! We've grown impatient, Hordak, with your misadventures have proven mute. Now return to Despondos. Retribution shall be swift, imprisonment eternal. From the Emerald Abyss, a powerful voice speaks as debt comes due, sending Hordak melting into the void. Come, Skeletor! And in sheer desperation, Hordak seizes Skeletor so that he doesn't go into the void alone. Enough! With a final blow, Hordak is exiled back to eternal darkness. A vacuum of hot air blasts past the warriors as the void of Despondos closes, and for a brief moment, two worlds, Etheria and Eternia, realized twin sides of relief as good defeated evil, though as ever it was on a razor's edge. What's his problem? Silence is his way of thanking us. Before the heroes can celebrate, Skeletor silently stalks away without turning back. It makes me wonder, though, about what? How things could have been different. We are family, after all. The end. I kind of do like that Skeletor design with the Horde stuff, although the Horde Havoc stuff looks kind of silly. At what point did Prince Adam announce that he was He-Man in the cartoon collection stuff? I don't remember that happening. But I could be wrong. Of course, if we're being perfectly honest, the Origins comics and the cartoon collection comics do kind of run together, I feel like, to tell this story. But let us move on from that and give my voice a chance to go back to normal. As we talk about Bo here, first off, let's look at his head sculpt. Looks pretty good. The mustache came out nicely. I don't know how I feel about the eyebrows, though. I don't know. Again, it would be one of those things where I'd have to watch the cartoon to see if his eyebrows were actually the same color as his hair and mustache, or if they were actually black like that. But generally speaking, most people's eyebrows are the same color as the rest of their hair. So, there's that. Pull his head off here for a moment so we can take a better look at his cape harness thing. So I understand why it's designed like this, because that was the best way they could think of to do that. But I don't really like it. Like, aside from the fact that I'm a fan of soft goods, which this really could have used soft goods, it's just like when we put it back on him, it's just the way it sits here, because the cape is heavy enough that it pushes that forward, and instead of having it be flush against his chest. The problem being here is that there's no good way to put it flush against his chest. So yeah, it's kind of a bit problematic in this design because it's just all floppy and stuff. Which makes me kind of wonder, when you get right down to it, is how exactly does he wear his top in, if it was a real life outfit, how would it work? That being said, let's look at the articulation here. Head's on a ball joint. We can spin around, look sideways, cock the head, all that other fun stuff. The normal. Arm can spin. However, his cape harness combo unit here does get in the way quite thoroughly. So you can only kind of like push it that way and push it that much. And then it just moves all that stuff around. We can hinge up though like normal. Technically speaking. We can rip his arm off trying to have him hold his hand up. Ugh. So the elbow here does bend little less than 90. And the hand goes like this to make inappropriate gestures to the women. We can spin the wrist at 360, and he's got the in and out articulation. It was weird because for a while there, I guess it's with the 2000X cartoon collection, everybody has the hand articulation on the right side so that he hold the weapons aloft, right? So we can do a 360 spin here at the waist. He does have a new belt. I do not believe we have seen this diaper on any other figure in the cartoon collection yet. We can kick his leg forward about that far and back. We can bend the knee and we can twist it a little bit because of that peg in there. The boot does spin at 360 here, and there's a hinge at the foot and a spin there as well. He does have new boots sculpted for him too, which probably would fit with, actually, again, the New Adventures He-Man if they decided to make him in the Origins line outside of the 4-pack. So I will say, I think it is good that we did get Bo into the cartoon collection before it ended. I would like to have seen more She-Ra characters, because honestly, when you get right down to it, the only characters from the Great Rebellion that we got from the cartoon collection was She-Ra, Frosta, and Bo here. We didn't even get an Adora in the cartoon collection. That's kind of surprising when you get right down to it, and a damn shame too. I would have thought she would have been high on the priority list for that, but I guess I'd be thinking wrong. I do hope they continue with the cartoon collection, though, so we can get some more of those figures and finish off the main casts. You know what I mean? That being said, I think Bo looks fine overall. I wish they could have found a better way to handle his harness and cape, but I can't think of a good way to actually have handled that harness. And I can't think of what Classics did, other than I want to say he did have like a 2-piece harness and it covered more of his body, and then the plastic cape was a separate piece or part of it. I don't remember. But it just doesn't work well with this figure, just because the cape weighs too much and pushes out the chest part too far forward. I really do think that Mattel needs to start doing something where they give us 2 bows, though, with whenever our character is an archer. So we have one bow like this here and a second bow with the arrow knocked into place. Also, in the case of Bo, if I am right and his bow did shrink down, God, this is annoying saying this over and over again, right? At least he doesn't have a bow in his hair. But they could have had the miniature version of the bow as an additional item instead of that stupid arrow. That arrow is pointless. There's no place on him to put it when it's not in use, and he can't hold on to it anyway. What a waste of plastic. But those are my thoughts on this figure, and why don't you guys let me know what you think about him in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this review, please feel free to drop your arrow out of your hand onto the like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. Perhaps you might even want to hit that notification bell. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.